Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today we have Brandon.
Hello.
We're here to talk about games and things.
Yep.
Yep.
We sure are.
What's on the list this week? Pikmin 4, finally here. We're going to talk about, I don't know, the newest summer game, I suppose.
I got some other stuff to talk about.
And we got other things to talk about. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So that's where we are. Ready to get started?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's get into it. We'll start with Pikmin 4, because obviously that's the big new release of this week. So we did have the demo not that long ago that I was able to talk about. But let me tell you, that demo, while it was a good demo, really keeps its lid shut on a lot of things that are in that game. Because this, I would say honestly, I mean, maybe it's a testament to kind of how Nintendo's been on this generation with a Switch with their releases lately, where it's just like, hey, we're going to release XYZ new game from this franchise, and we're just going to make sure it's the best iteration that it could possibly be. I mean, we've seen a lot of that lately with a lot of games that they've been doing, so not really unheard of. But I would say definitely the case for Pikmin from what's here. And also, I would even say, too, part of me kind of wonders if this is kind of also like, because there's so much shit in here, if they're kind of like, hey, don't know if we're ever going to make another Pikmin game again, so let's just make sure that this game has everything people could ever possibly want in a Pikmin game. And yeah, that's what they did. This is stupidly huge.
Nice.
There is so much to do in this game. It's ridiculous. So I would say, there's kind of like 6 main areas in the game, and some of the areas have like 100 things to collect in them. So,
oh damn,
yeah, and like just kind of put that in perspective a little bit. The first game you had 30 days to collect 30 items. So this game you have unlimited time, but one of the areas alone has 100 items, which is crazy. And then what was the other thing I was just going to say about it too? Just kind of perspective wise. Oh yeah, Nintendo even said too, and like because they've been doing like developer interviews again, kind of like the old Iwata asks, except obviously without Iwata.
Yeah.
But the dev team basically was like, yeah, there is more things to collect in this game than Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 combined. So
Holy shit.
Yeah, they really made sure that everything was there. So that kudos to them. I think that's great. And just to kind of just start off the discussion on this game on the right foot, I would say, at least from what I have played so far, and I am a good chunk through the game.
Okay.
But this is definitely by far the best Pikmin game, like hands
Awesome.
down. There's a lot of variety to it. It kind of really hits on all the notes of Pikmin. It's a love letter to the franchise. Like they literally took all the best aspects of all the games, all kind of the high notes and all the different throwbacks they possibly could, and they threw it all into one big game, and they made just like a huge love letter to this franchise. And yeah, no, it's incredible. Like everything that you could have ever wanted is there. They have some really cool. So how would I put this? So the game kind of does kind of what the last couple Pikmin games does, where if you want to go from like game to credits, it's not super difficult. You can do it. There's lots of options for you as to how you want to do it, and you kind of not super punishing to go through and do that and get from point A to credits. So even beginners, low level gamers probably can progress pretty decently through that from beginning to credits and kind of get a good experience out of it. So that's excellent. However, after the credits roll, that's when they take their gloves off. Like they definitely did that in Pikmin 2. I don't know the difficulty ramp too much in Pikmin 3, to be honest. But definitely in this one too. There's after the credits in this one, you unlock 2 new areas to explore. There's a whole new kind of like sub game to go through, which is full of challenge. And then there's even one more like kind of secret area, which is definitely full of challenge. And has some really fucking cool unlockables in the game. So yeah, they really do like kind of just make sure that you kind of have a nice variety of things to do. There's some really cool kind of throwbacks there. Um, yeah, I really like everything that's there. I think we said before, they made sure that the items were kind of fun to get. They actually did still keep in a lot of the fruit from like Pikmin 3 as kind of like an option thing to collect. There's lots of fruits and things. But they also brought back a lot of the, kind of everyday items. You're collecting some Nintendo stuff. There's a copy of Wave Race Blue Storm on there, the GameCube game. You collect the game. And yeah, so they got like those kind of things. But there's like Game Boys. I think I saw. I don't remember if it was a Game & Watch or like a Game Boy Micro. Like I think I got one of those. Lots of kind of nostalgic stuff in there. They got all that. They have a whole kind of. We talked about it before, I think in the previews, but they added in like a skill tree kind of thing where you can spend some materials that you get to upgrade your character or your dog and do different things. You could train your dog with new skills, so you got that.
Okay.
Every character that you rescue in this game, and there's a lot because I have not found them all yet, and I'm at least like 20 to 30 people already, I believe.
Okay.
They all give you like missions to complete. So if you want to go through and do extra missions, there's those kind of things to do.
That's
Obviously, you have the story stuff to go through. This game was just like brimming with content, and yeah, it's excellent. And it always keeps you on your toes too. Like there's just kind of sometimes there'll be things where I'll be like, "How do I get up here?" and I can't figure it out, and then there's just like a clever way to do it, and you're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." Would not have expected that. There is one interesting change to this one, I think. And it's kind of more like ties more into strategy of like what you're gonna do. They did put limits on the types of Pikmin that you can take out. So,
Oh,
like
okay.
previously in the last two games, because those are the ones that had more than three types of Pikmin, you could take out any mixture of any Pikmin that you wanted. This one, there's what they have seven, 2 plus 2 plus 1, 8 different types of Pikmin like that are available anytime, and you can only take 3 different types out at one time. So
Hmm.
you kind of like, well, it's like, oh, do I want the rock Pikmin? Do I want the ice Pikmin? Do I want, blue Pikmin? Where am I going? What am I going to do with it? What am I planning on doing? What's kind of the makeup of this world that kind of makes things, the best makeup of the Pikmin that I have for what I'm trying to do. So that makes things really interesting. And it kind of makes you think a little bit more. And I know I mentioned it when we were talking about the demo too, but they added some nice quality of life things too. Like you can move your base around now. Like you'll have a couple different points on the map, so you can drop your base off, move it maybe a little closer to where you're focused on your activities for that time frame. So you got that. One actually really nice feature that is in there now that's new to Pikmin 4, which was not in the previous entries, which is super helpful for people who are new to the series. They added like a rewind feature where it will just
Okay.
periodically kind of do like save state kind of things and be like, okay, you can rewind a couple minutes or whatever. This last one was saved, whatever. And it kind of gives you a little loose bit of data to kind of assess where you are. It's like,
Okay.
oh, you know what, you only lost 1 Pikmin here versus now where you lost 60, which I've had happen. So that was, you can still definitely have moments where it's like you aren't expecting something and the game is just like, haha, fuck you. And, you just kind of like slaughtered. And it's like, well, do I want to just take the loss or do I just want to rewind time a little bit now that I'm aware of the issue and kind of, recoup that? Times I have taken advantage of it. A random boss hops out of the ground and sucks up all my Pikmin or squashes them. Also
Mm.
popular. Uh, or I had a moment too where what was it? I'm like, they run down the clock. They're like, oh, there's 10 seconds left or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit, there's 50 Pikmin that aren't in my party and are not at the base. I'm fucked. So let me just rewind time a little bit and see if I can figure out where I sent those Pikmin to, do something and kind of
Mm-hmm.
correct that. So it's nice. You have that kind of option there, that way you're not kind of, screwed if, you lose all those Pikmin or whatever. So they got those kind of nice things. We talked about it a little bit, I think, with the preview where they have these like Dandori battles now, where you all kind of have to either do challenges um, against like other players. They kind of do it in two different ways. There's ones where it's challenges, kind of solo challenges, where they're like, hey, get as much uh, treasure as you can within this time frame, or kill as many enemies as you can with this time frame. Or there's the other ones where they're the versus challenges where you're playing against an AI character, and it's like, okay, I get more points than the other character as you do. So that's all pretty nice. I think that those can be fun. I think it'd be more enjoyable with this like versus mode, and you can play those versus mode in like split screen. There's no
Okay.
online option for it. The only complaint I've really seen about this one that people have kind of brought up across reviews, which doesn't really apply to me, but I will put it out there for people who might care, is there is no like split screen multiplayer for like normal, like single player campaign in
Okay.
this one. The previous games have let you do like split screen multiplayer where you can
Okay.
kind of split up doing the tasks and work together towards whatever goal you're working at. That is not the case in this one. In this one, they do have a second player mode, but it's just kind of one of those. It's one of those dumb modes like they had for the second player in Mario Galaxy, where it's like you can use the pointer and shoot rocks at the screen. Okay, nobody cares,
Yeah.
unless you're like 4. Then maybe that's exciting. But yeah, otherwise though, excellent. I really don't think I have anything poor to say about this game. I think it's very forgiving. Oh, I didn't even talk about it. There's a new that night mode. We didn't talk about night mode. I forgot about it. Yeah, night
Oh
mode.
yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so there's a mode now where you can like I don't know, stay up after dark and go on like missions at night. So not what I expected it to be. I kind of figured it would be like, similar type gameplay except at night. That is not what it is. I mean, there are some similarities, like you're still going around. You have your glow Pikmin, which is what you use during that time. Those like glowing green Pikmin. And basically it's like a horde mode. You kind of have like a tower that you have to defend, and there's just like hordes of enemies coming out, and you have to time out what you're doing, build your Pikmin team that you have, and try to stop them from destroying the tower before time runs out.
Okay.
So they're pretty enjoyable from what I've seen. Maybe not my favorite focus in the game because there's just so many things going on there.
Mhm.
You do the point of it is there's like you get medicine from them, and you can use it to save some of the people who were I forget what they call them. They're the ones that kind of like what we saw in the trailers where they're kind of like all like leafy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a medicine you get from those night towers that kind of cures them. And so you need them to cure them, and then that gives you the ability to unlock that character who, like I said, in turn gives you like missions or like new things.
Mhm.
Or what else was I going to say about it too? What else do they do for you? I already lost my train of thought.
No.
um yeah, but yeah, no, so they're just kind of it's just kind of a nice new mode. Just kind of enjoyable stuff there. So it's just kind
Okay.
of nice to see the variety that's there. It also does give you unlock glow seeds as well. Kind of
Okay.
another bonus there, depending on how you do. And the glow seeds give you glow Pikmin that you can use in the caves that are in the game. So caves are very similar to Pikmin 2. They're not randomly generated like they were in Pikmin 2, as far as I can tell. They're more crafted like cave experiences.
Okay.
But it's kind of before we have like multiple floors you're going through to get treasures. Sometimes they're kind of puzzly with the enemies that they have there,
Mhm.
or the environmental challenges.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty. There's a lot of stuff going on here. It's really good.
Sounds
I
like
like
it.
what I've
Sounds
seen.
like there's a lot of game here.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for someone who's never played like Pikmin before, definitely a good entry place. It
Mm.
definitely gives you enough ramp time to kind of get used to the difficulty there
Mm.
before like throwing you to the fire. Basically,
I see.
you get acquainted to everything pretty well at a
Okay.
good pace. Um, so I think that's excellent. Story wise, I don't think there's anything that you need to know prior to this game. Like it's
Okay.
Pikmin 4 in name, but it's kind of ambiguous in terms of if it even ties into the other stories or not.
Okay.
So, like you do have Captain Olimar. Everyone knows Captain Olimar from Smash Brothers. He is
Mhm.
there. He does play a role in this story. but it's kind of like I think the question is still, and I think we kind of talked about it as a theory, and the game doesn't actually answer it. And even in the dev interview, they were very coy about answering it. But it's like, is this a retelling of the first Pikmin game, or is this kind of a sequel to what's already been there? Don't know. Doesn't really matter. It just does as its story is kind of on its own and stands alone pretty well. So I don't think it really matters. I think anyone can pick it up and have a good time. Don't worry about the numbers. Yeah. And other than that, I think it looks great. I think it plays great. I love the every time I see the character like models, like when they're kind of up close on the screen, like they do a very good job pulling off like a claymation kind of look to it. So I kind of like that, which it reminds me a lot of the original kind of like Pikmin kind of artwork where they're almost claymation like.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. I'm sure there's even more I could say about this. But they give all the treasures like fancy names, all hundreds of treasures or whatever. Just kind of like just random crazy stuff. But yeah, no, it's a good game. If you're interested in it, I recommend picking it up or trying out the demo. I think the demo definitely doesn't give you a lot of challenge, but I assure you there is challenge in the game if you want it. And the demo is kind of a nice way to get your feet wet before getting into the game. Also, bonus, we talked about it before, the demo, whatever you play in the demo, does roll over into the full game. So you do get that option.
Okay. I'll give it a go then.
Yeah, I'd say it's worth it. You said you never really played too much of the Pikmin games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say give it a try. See if you like it. I mean, it's it's a real time strategy game to some degree. Not maybe it's not like StarCraft, but definitely a lot of interesting concepts there. So I like it. I think it's really good, and I think it's definitely worth trying for anyone who's not tried it before. This is kind of like one of those weird Nintendo franchises where people always are like, "Where's Pikmin?" but it just never sells well. So it doesn't sell bad. I think it had to have sold more than Shovel Knight, what we talked about before. But yeah, it's just kind of for a Miyamoto like game. It doesn't hit like Miyamoto like numbers. So that's all. Do you have any questions on Pikmin?
Nope. Not at all.
Okay. All right. It says Pikmin 2021 sold 7.65 million copies.
Oh, okay.
So that's where it is. And it sounds like it's already been off to a good start so far. Said it was top of the chart for UK when it released. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's it. I think it's easily the best one so far. So oh, and I got the new amiibo, the Pyro and Mythra amiibo. So
nice.
Too much to say about them. They look nice. I was very excited. I had I think I talked about it before. I missed the pre-order window when they came out, and then just randomly I saw some people were like, "Hey, it says out of stock on Best Buy, but I managed to get one." And so
yeah, my buddy just bought them on Amazon randomly. Just like they were just there. He just didn't care.
I tried it, and it was kind of like I added it to my cart, and it's like there's none in stock. I added it to my cart again. It's like there's none in stock, and then I added it to my cart again, and it's like, okay, you win. And I was like, and then I got it sent out like a couple days later. Yeah, I think they're nice. It's we talk about it every time there's a new amiibo, but I'm always kind of amazed when I see them because I'm like, these look so much better than when amiibo started. Like the quality is just really good. Because you can. When you're looking at Marth from like the first wave, you're like, is this Marth? I don't know. They're dressed like Marth. But now, with Pyro and Mythra, they look like Pyro and Mythra. They got great detail on them. They definitely have come a long way in what they've been doing with them. And I think they definitely kind of nailed the what's the word I'm looking for? I guess maybe like the smaller scale kind of rollouts for these as they go. So they've been doing a good job like balancing them. I always kind of wonder if they're going to do anything too much more with them, but I don't necessarily mind them as like every once in a while, kind of what they've been doing with them lately, where it's like, okay, got a big new game coming out, let's put it out amiibo with it, kind of as like a special edition kind of launch thing, and see how it goes. So,
okay.
This is the supposedly next to last Smash Brothers one. The only Smash Brothers amiibo that does not yet exist is Sora. So
there we go.
Yeah. And that is all I have to talk about.
Well, there you go.
So what do you got going on?
So, I got access to CS2. I mentioned it before. I was like, hey, I wonder when we'll get that. Yeah, I got it like literally an hour after our last podcast.
Oh, nice.
So, it's not out. It's only being sent out randomly to people. But I got into this wave of invites, and I played it quite a bit, and I got some thoughts because I like CS:GO. I have over 6,000 hours in CS:GO. That's a lot of hours in CS:GO.
That's a lot of hours in anything.
Yeah, so CS2 it's got some good things and it's got some bad things. And I cannot decide exactly what is the good and the bad, so I'm just going to share my thoughts on it. And essentially, they have always had this like tick system, like 32 tick, 64 tick, 128 tick, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And that denotes how quickly between you pressing a button on your mouse or on your keyboard or whatever, the server recognizes that you've done that. And as such, in CS:GO, things sometimes would not work correctly. Like you would like take a shot and you'd be like, I should have hit that. I know I pulled the trigger, but it was because the information hadn't been sent to the server yet, and as such, you didn't actually hit that person where you were supposed to. That's just how it's always worked. People always complained about it. People always complained about it. Throughout the entirety of CS:GO since 2012, people have complained about it. They even gave it its own nickname called "Getting CS:GO'd," essentially. So it's like, oh man, I got CS:GO'd. Like whenever your shot doesn't go off after you've pulled the trigger or whatever. Yeah. And that shit sucked. And
understandably.
So they've introduced a thing where there's no longer any sort of ticking system. It's just pretty much 1-to-1 with you pulling the trigger that your shots are fired, like instantly. Now, this is good because things will feel much more fluid and responsive and everything. But this also, in my opinion, makes the movement system feel off. So whereas they're like, oh, this will just translate perfectly from CS:GO into this. If you've played CS:GO, then you're going to have the same feeling when playing this game. And I think that's a load of shit. I think the movement system in CS2 feels so floaty that it almost feels like I'm on rollerblades. Because like I'll hold W and when I let it go, I still feel the momentum of myself moving forward, which is a normal thing. That's how it should feel, but that's not the way the game was designed initially because of the way that system was in place from before. And as such, it almost feels like I have to like train myself not to play CS2 the same way I played CS:GO because it just doesn't work. And it's really weird. There's a few other things that I think are really weird. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the like bad out of the way first since I'm talking about this. The movement system feels floaty and it feels too responsive now. And I'm having to break old habits to the point where like I'm like, oh shit, I have momentum. I didn't even realize I had momentum in CS:GO, but I guess I have momentum. You have momentum, but like this game, you really feel like you have momentum. You feel like you can't just stop. Like you have to, you take a few extra steps after you've already let go of either the W, A, S, or D. So moving forward, back, or left, or right, you feel like you're taking a few extra steps when doing that.
Yeah.
And it feels very, very odd to me. But I know it's natural, and it should be normal. It's just I've been conditioned because of the way the game was set up before in the past. So I just got to break that habit. But at this moment in time, it doesn't feel right. Next, CS:GO has always been a highly, highly, highly competitive game. Perhaps one of the most competitive games, aside from something like League of Legends or Dota. And this game has done this thing where I like to call it gamerifying the UI. So whereas the UI is very simple in CS:GO, you've got your amount of ammo you have and your damage on the left and the right, and the top left-hand corner you have your map system, like your mini map. This is a little bit different. So in the middle bottom of your screen is your health and ammo. Your health is on the left side and ammo's on the right instead. But also there's this little circle at the bottom, and every time you get a kill, a card is added right above that circle. And seeing the card come into play after I get a kill is like, it's neat, it looks cool, it's more gamery, and I do like the idea of it, but it's super distracting for a
Mm-hmm.
highly competitive game, to the point where I just do not like the UI of CS:GO 2. It is not good in my opinion. I hope there's some kind of option that you can have where you can potentially make like a more streamlined or simplified UI instead of having what they have now. Because yeah, it looks cool the first few times, but then it's just fucking distracting and annoying afterwards. So I'm going to share some of the good things now. The way they have redone these maps and changed them up and
Mm-hmm.
made them look so different, it is a night and day difference, like graphics quality wise, and how good these maps look and play. They look incredible. Which I mean, obviously they should. This is a brand new engine
Yeah,
essentially, and it's the
you'd
same
hope
engine
so.
they used for their VR games. So they're using the engine they used for their VR games in the new CS game, and that's really cool. And it looks really good. The lighting looks incredible. It's awesome. It's got a little bit of performance issues right now, but they're working that out obviously because
Mm-hmm.
it's not even released yet. It's only being sent out to people in invites. Now, on top of it looking fantastic and playing really well when it comes to like the actual map design, another really cool part is seeing how things have like evolved from like CS:GO to now, because it's the
Mm-hmm.
same maps from CS:GO, but like for instance on one map, there was a claw that was called construction, but that construction area has now been completely finished.
Oh,
So it's now
nice.
an actual like built up place instead, so that's like a thing that they've done, and it's actually kind of neat seeing how it's evolved over time from CS:GO to CS2 now, and seeing how different parts of the map have changed and this, that, and the other, but
I
still
always like when they
feel the
do touches like
same.
that.
It still feels the same though, where it's not like, oh, I'm going to be confused about this map. It just looks way better, and there's been like evolution in how
Yeah.
the map has gone from point A to point B, and it's really cool. I like that a lot. Um, let's see, a few other things that I really dig about this game. There has always been with CS:GO um, a spray pattern for every gun. So every individual gun fires differently, as they should, as a gun should. If you're firing a
Mm-hmm.
shotgun, you're not going to have the same as like firing a 50 cal op, that sort of thing. It's not going to be the same feeling as firing those kind of guns. If you're firing like a M249, it's not going to feel the same as like a Mac 10. It's not
Yeah,
going to.
as you would
Um,
hope.
exactly, and that's one thing I think CS:GO really does well when it comes to that game, just in general, and CS in general does that really well. Is making all the guns feel very different. Now that's kind of difficult for some people when they're first getting started with the game, because every gun fires differently. So you kind of have to like learn the way those guns fire. There's kind of a little assist in CS2, which I think is kind of incredible what they've done here. So there's an option in the game that makes it so your crosshair actually moves at the spray pattern of each individual gun that you fire. And if you tick on that option, then all you need to do is readjust your mouse as you're firing and keep it on your enemy. And like it'll be moving all around your screen, as you're firing the gun and everything, but it's also teaching you the spray pattern by doing so. And even if you don't want to learn the spray pattern of guns, you could still just readjust your aim on the fly while you're playing and make it so your crosshair is always on the person that you're aiming at, essentially. And it works really, really well, in my opinion, to the point where I think it will be a bit of a game changer for newer players. They'll be able to get into this game a lot easier by having these sort of options. And even for like older players, I think it's very good for just in general the way spray patterns work, and just kind of getting yourself reaccustomed to it if you haven't been on the game in a while, or if you're like a returning player, or if you didn't quite know and you weren't quite good enough. This could be a really good way to help you get better at that sort of
Yeah,
concept in the
nice
game.
little assistant. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's it's really good. They've got a lot of solid elements built here for CS2. I really look forward to it. Um, but there's really not much I can talk about it right now because they only give us 2 maps because they
Mm-hmm.
just took out all the other maps because they want people to focus on these 2 new maps that they just put back into the game. So like when I say new maps, I mean they've redone CS:GO maps and they've put them in CS:GO 2 now, but they've been rolling them in waves just like they've been sending out invites in waves.
Mm-hmm.
And so this wave, the invite that I got into, the 2 maps that are in there right now are Vertigo and Overpass, and they also introduced competitive back into the game. Um, I don't really like either of those maps. Like
Mm-hmm.
Vertigo's fine, but I would have to play it in deathmatch, and I don't really care for deathmatch. When it comes to CS, I like playing competitive.
Okay.
There's multiple modes in the game, and competitive's the one I play. I feel like it's just kind of the way the game was made to be played, essentially. And only being able to play Overpass and competitive is just not fun to me. So I'm not playing it as much as I should. But what I have played of CS2 is very good, and I look forward to them putting other maps back in so I can actually go back and play this more.
Okay. Yeah. Understandable. How often are they putting them out?
So it seems like each new like major patch and major invite of people is when they add more maps in. They've already had maps in before, so like they had Dust 2, they had Nuke, they had Office, they had Mirage. They had those 4 maps. Those
Mm-hmm.
4 maps, they had already gone through the testing for those maps, and they've already adjusted and found like glitches and stuff, and adjusted those maps and made them better from the way they initially put them out by taking feedback from the community. So
Yeah.
now they're doing Overpass and Vertigo. So after this, they'll either bring back in 2 new maps or bring back in the other maps for as part of the community. But right now, they're going through patching the maps and making sure they're done correctly and there isn't any kind of like glitches or whatever for whenever they actually release the game. So like when the game actually releases, I'm almost positive all the maps from the original CS:GO will be in it. But right now, I got in during an invite wave where they're testing 2 brand new maps, and I don't particularly like these maps.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
essentially where I'm at right now.
Fair.
Good game though, and CS2 is shaping up to be really really nice. Like the gunplay, having the no longer having a tick system and that sort of thing, having that element to the game and having it where it's essentially 1-to-1, that makes it feel just way better.
Mm-hmm.
um and because of that, i I think like once I get used to the momentum and actually feeling the momentum, because of the fact that that system is gone, being able to combine, being able to control my movement as well, like way better, as well as being able to control my, firing, the guns way better, is going to make it like a night and day difference essentially. But I just got
Mm-hmm.
to get used to it. So there we go.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, so very, very fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed my time with it so far.
All right. What else you got?
So I watched The Flash.
All right.
uh,
I've heard
I
it's
would like
amazing.
I would like to say a few things about this movie.
Okay.
All right, first and foremost, this movie is bad. Like, it's really bad. But here's the other thing. I had so much fun with this movie because of just how bad it was. Um,
Honestly, I'm surprised that they just didn't, when they were having all the drama with this
yeah.
movie during like production. I'm surprised they just didn't scrap it at that time.
So they can't. And I can't spoil why, but I'll just say um some of the things in this movie lead into the rest of the DC universe.
So they need it as like part of
Yeah,
a.
yeah.
Well, that's the problem with these like multiverse kind of
They're
things.
so bad. Like
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, right? I've stopped watching anything Marvel. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
watching Marvel movies anymore at all, or TV shows or anything, because I just pick and choose what I want to watch. Because essentially it's just so boring. It's so
Mm-hmm.
annoying. I have to watch like 27 different shows to understand an iota of what's going on in one fucking movie that I want to see. And I'm just like, I don't care. I'm not going to do it. In the past, movies would like stand alone even while adding more to it through like the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the like last generation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we had leading up to Endgame and that sort of thing. That
Mhm.
universe, you could watch those movies like Thor 2 or Thor 3 or Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3 or whatever. You could watch all of those movies and you didn't have to watch the 12 that came before it.
Yeah.
You could watch the 12 that came before it and get a better understanding of the world in general, but now it's like a requirement for every single Marvel series and movie, and it's just so bad. And DC is no better because they keep just changing everything. Whereas Marvel wants everything to stay the same and on a constant line of leading into one another, DC keeps changing everything to the point where it's like, all right, well, which universe is this in, and is it canon anymore, and does it matter?
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where like it's now like, oh well, this universe is sort of canon, but only these two people from it matter because these two people are going to get a movie, and they were going to do this, and they're going to do that, and blah, 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 and whatever. And it's just so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That being said, this was a Batman movie, and I really enjoyed it because this was a Batman movie. And I'll just leave it at that. Like I really had fun with it because essentially, and I'm going to try to spoil the least amount as possible because and I'll only use what has been shown in the trailers. Flash, his whole thing is I can go super fast and I can also go through time and this, that, and the other and everything. And oh no, maybe I caused a rift in time. Uh-oh, some bad shit's happening, and that shit happens all the time because he's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And it's no different here. He actually goes back in time and he's attempting to find Batman to help him, get everything fixed and do this, that, and the other, and correct what he fucked up. But this universe's Batman that he meets up with is the same one from the 1990 Tim Burton Batman movie, and it's
Mhm.
fucking awesome. So,
Okay.
so like, it's actually really fun. Is it 1990 or is it 1998? It might be 1989.
89
1989
sounds more
Batman.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
89 Batman, Michael Keaton Batman. That's who he meets up with. And then it's a Michael Keaton Batman movie for pretty
Okay.
much the rest of the film. And it's very good in that aspect of it. But like every time the Flash is on screen, I'm just like, oh haha, we do the silly fish out of water funny man. Yay, for no reason, stupid shit. And that's essentially what happens. And there's some really interesting parts to this film, and there's really fun things that go on here. But then, like, all the time travel bullshit gets really stupid at times to the point where it's like, well, you find yourself not being able to kind of like suspend your disbelief and be more like, so why didn't you just do this? And then, like, the movie never has an answer for why didn't they just do this? And it's just really stupid. Like all the stupidest decisions that they could make, they
Yeah.
made.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not a good movie, but it is very fun if you're a Batman fan. And that's all I really have to say about it.
Okay, that's not what I would expect, for that.
Yeah.
But that's good, I guess, ish, even though it's not a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
Nice
didn't
kind of
hate it.
popcorn flick, maybe.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun, stupid. It's stupid fun, but it is far from a good movie. Like that is really all I can
Okay.
say when it comes
Yeah,
down
and that
to it.
makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So that's what I did.
Hmm.
That has been my week, and I actually do have a little bit of news. If you
Yeah,
would like to talk about things,
of
shall we get
course.
some news? All
Hmm.
right, let's get some news. So Overwatch 2 has been announced for Steam now.
Okay.
Yeah, Blizzard apparently is moving Overwatch 2 over to Steam in August. Don't know why, it just is. It's how it is. That's what's happening.
Was Overwatch 1 ever on
Nope,
Steam?
nope,
Okay.
nope. People are saying this probably has some stuff to do with the Activision Blizzard merger
That's what I was
potential.
just gonna say. I was like, maybe
Um,
it's just kind of them being like, "Hey, no, we do put our games on other platforms.
yeah, maybe.
We're not gonna
Um,
hold hostage. Look at it."
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So Xbox Live Gold was also announced to be ending last week, in case you didn't know that.
It's supposed to be what?
Ending. They're ending
Oh,
Xbox Live Gold. So
okay.
Xbox Live Gold no longer exists, and they're replacing it with Game Pass Core, I think is what it's called.
Oh, I think I did read this. Yeah.
Yeah, Xbox Game Pass Core, which essentially does the same thing as Xbox Gold, except you no longer get free games monthly, which their free games have been fucking dog shit lately anyway. And
Hmm.
instead, you have access to several Game Pass games without having to have like the updated subscription version of Game Pass. And those games are Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5, Halo Wars 2, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, Human Fall Flat, Inside, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Psychonauts 2, State of Decay 2, and Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Edition. Which this kind of feels like what Sony did with their lower tier of PlayStation Plus, where they gave you like those 20 titles that you could access and that was it.
Yeah.
And then they scrapped that, but then Microsoft was like, hey, well, why don't we do that now? That's kind of what just happened.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but we have a teaser for a short mid-season mini battle pass in Fortnite coming in the next few days to weeks. Here's
Uh-huh.
the thing, I wouldn't be
Okay.
bringing this up if it wasn't for the fact of what we saw teased.
What did we see teased?
A video of the Hypnotoad and the Galaxy Express flying straight into the screen.
I don't even know what that means.
Futurama Fortnite Battle Pass.
Oh, okay.
So that's really fucking weird to me, but okay, I guess.
They've had so many weird crossovers on Fortnite, though. I mean, really can't not
That's
expect anything
true.
now.
That's true. I'm going to do uh, Futurama. I think the new season releases in like a few weeks,
Hmm.
so I'm checking.
Oh, for Futurama,
Yeah.
it's I think it just came out maybe yesterday.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that would make sense then.
It's this month. Yeah, I know that.
Episode 1 released yesterday. You're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yep. So there you go. That is probably why we have a new season, essentially.
Yeah,
We have a
makes
new
sense.
season, then we have a new battle pass, probably because of that. So there you go.
Yeah. I don't know. The other little piece of news I've seen today is Microsoft and Activision agreed to, push back the deadline for their merger until October.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, probably just so they could sort out the UK stuff without
Mm-hmm.
running into deadlines. My guess is at this point, with where they are, they'll push forward regardless, even if they can't get the UK stuff under wraps. And but I'm guessing they're just assuming they can make some concessions and just go ahead. So, but yeah, I'm sure that's kind of all. Who knows? Maybe that's what the Overwatch thing was. Like, yeah, we'll let Overwatch be on Steam. Look at no, our stuff's not locked to our own platform. I'm playing friendly with everyone, as you know, Microsoft and Activision will once we're merged. So, uh,
Hi.
I know. I feel like there's some rumors. Let me see if there's any exciting rumors lately. I feel like I just saw some not that long ago. Let's see. Rumors. What do we have in the rumors? Well, we just talked about that one. Don't care. Ubisoft has canceled Immortals Phoenix Rising sequel.
That's kind of shit because like the first game is actually really good.
I'm sure it was good. I bet it just didn't sell well, and they just knew the writing was on the wall.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like, fuck's sake, dude. Oh my god, wait, we can talk about the other Ubisoft thing.
What's
Thank
the
you
other
for
Ubisoft
reminding
thing?
me. Oh my god. Okay, so here we go. So, there was a email that someone got, and they wanted to know if it was a phishing email, so they messaged Ubisoft about it on their Twitter, and they confirmed that it was actually real and official.
Mm-hmm.
They had not logged into Uplay for 6 months, and due to that, Ubisoft was going to shut down their account and remove everything from it, completely deleting it from existence. They would lose all of their games, they would lose all of their achievements, they would lose every DLC, they would lose everything. And then Ubisoft was like, this is not a phishing email. This is real. If
Mm-hmm.
you do not log in the next 30 days, you will lose your entire account. This includes all of your paid content, DLC, any achievements that you would have gotten, and access to the name that you had originally named yourself for during this account. So now people have found out that Ubisoft is just taking away people's accounts if you don't use it for a while.
6 months is a bit aggressive, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like Ubisoft is having a real bad time right now. I feel like it's got to be like really bad for them right now.
Yeah, something's going on. I kind of agree. Just kind of, I feel like Ubisoft has not been. They really have not had like a good like hit for them lately. Like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like a lot of their stuff's been falling flat. I'm sure things have been selling well, but just not as good as they want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think even too, there's a lot of kind of with the Mario versus Rabbids kind of thing.
Yeah.
I know they said with like kind of the latest release that one didn't hit sales expectations, and supposedly Nintendo had even been telling them beforehand, like, no, don't release now, save it for the next system. And they're like, oh no, we did so well with the last one, we just want to go ahead with it.
And
Which,
now
as
it's
you,
like moved nothing essentially. I
yeah,
forgot that released even.
I know, I forget, and I own it. And I have barely even touched it. But it just kind of definitely came out the wrong time, wrong place. The first one came out at a good time. It was launch-ish game. Launch window definitely got some more eyes on it. But now it kind of came out in a pretty busy end of the year, and definitely got overlooked with everything that was going on. So not really a good time. They definitely could have sat on that for a little bit longer and finish it up. Do what Nintendo does, sit on it
They
for a
should have
while,
just
and
waited, honestly.
yeah, exactly. So, but no, and then Assassin's Creed's not pulling in the numbers it used to. I think they probably hit that saturation point there. So yeah, definitely Ubisoft seems to be struggling. Um, mm, I feel like that'd be a acquisition Sony would look into because Microsoft probably couldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole now if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Who knows what happened? I'm just being facetious. I don't know. Probably more likely would be who was trying to buy him up before and Ubisoft was trying to fend off. Was it Tencent? Someone.
It was probably Tencent. Tencent takes everything and then
Yeah.
ruins it.
And Ubisoft tried to hold on to it, but I kind of feel like they're like you said, kind of the writings on the wall. They're getting drawn out, and I feel like it's not too long before they get absorbed or merged into another company since
Mm-hmm.
we're in a phase of consolidation again. So yeah, I think that's kind of coming. So what else do we have news wise? I guess rumor wise. I don't know. This is just saying people saying bullshit as usual, but I'll throw it out there. Person who said that, you know, they expected Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to come to the Switch last year
Mm-hmm.
says that Metroid Prime 2 is coming soon and something Zelda that isn't related to Tears of the Kingdom will be happening later this year.
Have you
So,
finished Tears of the Kingdom?
yeah,
Okay.
it's good. Did
Okay.
you finish it?
No, absolutely not.
I know how you are.
You don't even have
I
to
was just
ask me
asking.
questions. I'm gonna finish it before the end of the year, but I don't know.
I mean, I finished the main story. Is there still more to do? Yeah, it's fucking huge. There's tons of things to do. There are still enemies in that game I know exist that I have not seen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely, plenty to keep yourself entertained there. I just haven't gone back and done anything else. Um, as for this rumor, I don't necessarily think that it's untrue.
Yeah.
I think that I said before, Nintendo has a very suspicious hole in September. It's not usually a month that they keep empty with nothing. So I fully expect a shadow drop of something there. Whether it's Metroid or one of those Zelda games, could go either way. But
Yeah.
I expect either probably I think honestly more likely probably Prime 2. I think they're gearing up for Prime 4 release slowly but surely.
Mm.
And at that point it'll be what, 6 months after the Metroid Prime remastered. Good time to drop Metroid Prime 2. And, 6 months later, you got Metroid Prime 3, dropped it in March
Okay.
2024. And then 6 months later, boom, Metroid Prime 4, launch game for Super Switch. Marketing genius.
It's not happening.
Which one?
Most.
I don't know. I do think that's kind of where they're going with it, though. Just kind of the slow trickle out of the Metroid games makes sense. I think that's kind of, especially with as well as Metroid Prime seemed to have done with that release in March. It seemed like it sold very well for them. So I wouldn't be surprised. It was kind of what they ended up going with it. Whether or not Metroid Prime 4 is anytime soon, don't know. But it's been what? 4 years since they announced they scrapped development and started over again. So something's got to be going on there. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows about Metroid?
I don't think in Metroid Prime 4 will show up ever. I think it's dead.
I think it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like we talked about before, there was that rumor that Metroid Prime Remastered was kind of let's test the waters and see if Metroid Prime's viable, depending on how well this sells. So it sounds like that sold well enough that they were kind of surprised by it. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I don't expect it until the next system, though. I don't think it's going to be a Switch game, or maybe best worst case scenario, it's like a cross-gen, like last minute, like, hey, you can play it on Switch, but you can play it on Super Switch and it's even better, kind of thing. That's where I am on it. I do think, though, probably more likely. I mean, supposedly, what is it? Mercury Steam is working on a new 2D Metroid.
Okay.
I think that's more likely. But we'll see. And they're good. They basically stealth dropped Metroid Dread. So
That's true.
yeah, it's E3 and then like coming in like 3 months. Like, yeah, okay. So yeah, I guess we'll find out with that one. Otherwise, I'm just grasping at straws to talk about. Do you have anything else you want to talk about this week?
I really don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, kind of slow week, I would say. Ubisoft clarifies it won't delete game libraries due to game inactivity after fan panic.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Because they clarified like 2 days ago that they would. Where's this at?
1 day ago on IGN.
They must have got a shit ton of backlash.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure that they did.
There was like... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Finish what you're going to say.
There was like entire, like just for a whole day, there were like YouTube videos of people being like, man, Ubisoft's like one of the worst companies out there. Everyone gives EA and Microsoft and all these other companies shit and everything. And then like here's Ubisoft just getting away with the bullshit that they do week after week.
Yep. Not big enough to stir up too much shit, apparently. But anyway, so this new...
8 hours ago, Ubisoft account deletion policy sparks backlash and confusion. Wait, what?
Maybe they're just trying to like keep themselves relevant by staying in the news one way or another. When they say no, all news is good news, or I don't remember how that phrase goes.
In an email to Kotaku, a Ubisoft spokesperson reiterated the account deletion has been in place for many years. Ubisoft says considers 5 criteria to check to see if the user's account should be wiped out. Gaming activity of the account since its creation, the account libraries, if the account has included purchased PC games, it's not eligible for deletion. The duration of inactivity of the account, meaning the last login to our ecosystem. In practice, as of today, we have never deleted accounts that have been inactive for less than 4 years. Then what the fuck was this shit that happened to this guy?
Maybe he didn't have any PC games?
Maybe.
He just had like an Ubisoft account and just didn't use it?
Maybe. That's weird, though, because it's like a complete stark contrast to what they were saying before.
Yeah, I don't know. But it sounds like that, what kind of way you just read it was kind of more the qualifying thing. And I could definitely see someone being like, oh, Ubisoft said they're closing my account. And people be like, oh my God, my games. And then, turn it into a big thing. Which, I mean, arguably still, I don't care what service it is, whether or not it includes games or not. 6 months is way too short of a time for anything. They're like, hey, nope, your account's going to be closed if you haven't used it in 6 months. Yeah, that's a very short amount of time.
Agree.
Because I mean, really, account data costs you what, $0? Yeah, like you're storing a password and some
Mm-hmm.
preferences, so not really a big deal. Yeah, no random. Who knows? I'm sure maybe some more will come out of it, or who knows? Maybe it was the case, and they're like, "Oh no, 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 you misunderstood."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I could see it really going anyway on it. So, anyways, other kind of piece of news I just saw, which this one seems right up your alley because I feel like it's something we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Insider claims PlayStation 5 Pro targeting 8K performance mode with accelerated ray tracing.
Um, it- um, so that was on the box of the PS5. So let's see if that actually happens.
Yeah. But I think kind of like what we've talked about so many times is like it seems like they're having a hard enough time dealing with the system that they currently have for them to be like, let's make a pro system with even less users and even less focus on making sure things are running well. So I don't know, just kind of mind boggling to me. I really don't understand why they think that would be a good idea. But considering the hardware decisions they've been making lately, also not surprised. Their hardware decisions have been mind boggling lately. So I don't know why there's such a huge disconnect with Sony's hardware team lately, but they're just all over the place. They're like ADHD kids. They're like, oh, man, it'll be cool. A really expensive VR unit. Oh, man, awesome. You know what else would be cool? A handheld PlayStation. That's not really a handheld console. I love it. Controller with a screen on it.
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
controller with a screen on it that is only works via online.
Yeah, exactly. Controller with the screen on it. Not a handheld system. Dumba. And then they're like, oh, you know what else people love? Pro systems. More power. We can't even use the power we already got because it's so powerful. So let's just make a system that's even less likely to do it. Great idea. Even Microsoft's like, that's a wildly bad idea. You know, if they're even sitting back there and like, oh no, we're not doing that. Like, they're just like, mm. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just bluffing, but you know, they're like, people really aren't taking advantage of what we already have. So why would we make a pro system? Understandable. So, yeah, I don't know. But I wouldn't put it past Sony. I'm sure that's probably what they're doing, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we're good actually.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also check us out on game-crunch.com. All of our episodes are there. If you want to reach out to us, we're on Facebook, or you can send us an email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon,
Hey,
any final thoughts?
no, I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Well, that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online on Clash of Penguin there, or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
There you go. Game on.
There you go. Game
Mm-hmm.
on. Mm-hmm.
You're right. Twitter did die.
What did I?
Twitter.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking dead. Why anyone would continue using it after this?
Oh,
Elon Musk.
wait. Do you not know?
No, what?
They renamed Twitter yesterday.
No, I know. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why I was saying Twitter's dead. It doesn't exist anymore, actually. It's now called X. And now, since, there's Twitter US, Twitter Australia, Twitter and everything, it's now changed to X US, X blah, 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 blah. So there's X Japan, which is the title of a very well-known and respected rock band in Japan. So now they're attempting to sue Twitter.
Yeah, Elon Musk is literally the dumbest person.
Literally,
Why?
they're suing X Japan because they're like, yeah, we already have the rights to that. You can't do that, Elon Musk.
Yeah, why anyone thinks that man is a genius
Oh, he's the fucking stupidest person ever.
Yeah. This is like the epitome of stupid. Like you don't just rename like there are words in the dictionary like tweets and like tweeting whatever. Like those are all like
No, wait.
synonymous with Twitter.
Xing? I don't. What the fuck do you even do?
I heard excreting is a possibility. I like that one. Um, yeah, I don't understand what he was thinking. Why nobody stepped in to be like, "Hey, Elon, this is a really dumb idea. You spent a lot of money on this brand, and this brand is probably worth more than the social media platform that it's built on, and you're just gonna throw it all away on a whim for some dumb logo that's also copyright and stolen from someone else. And yeah, you got a lot of issues. So and then not to mention, there's you know apparently Microsoft owns the trademark X for certain things. Facebook owns the trademark X for other things.
Yep.
And yeah, this just seems like the
The
dumbest
dumbest shit.
thing. I don't think that there is any person in existence aside from maybe Elon Musk that would be like, "Oh yeah, this is a great idea and it's gonna be revolutionary." Like when people do like rebranding of things, like it's a slow and methodical process. You take some time to work some things out.
No,
You
Verge
make
just
sure
changed
it's
the name in like 5 minutes.
yeah. Like, do you remember how long it took us when we rebranded the podcast? Like, we did that like over the span of like months. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was not like let's just do this next week and just change everything. No, because we went through all these different name possibilities. We went through, we checked to make sure that there was no other like competing people using the same
Yep.
name. We went through and redid our logos. We went through and redid our music. We went through and made sure everything was there. We did a couple weeks of like teasing on the podcast to let our
Yep.
listeners know that this was coming. Like this was not like a
How is it that we're
middle of
more
the night
professional
5 a.m.
than
decision.
fucking Elon Musk?
Yeah, I just don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense.
So
So
stupid.
so stupid. So yeah, so that's the dumb things of the week. I watch it probably just end up getting put back in its place and then end up just keeping it as Twitter changing it back.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any other way why he wouldn't, because it would just be dumb not to. So, yeah. Dumb, 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 dumb.
Oh yeah.
Dumb, 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 dumb. I feel like that South Park song is appropriate.